All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. If there's any stragglers, we'll go ahead and catch them as they come in. Thank you so much for participating today. Today, we're going to be discussing how to effectively manage change and your attitude. This is part of our Career Edge series off of our webinar toolkit that we have with careeredgeeasttext.com. It has a lot of great modules and tools that you can utilize, especially right now as you're kind of trying to assess some things, maybe reassess alignment with finding work or just personal goals and things like that. And that's what this session is going to primarily be about, is just our self-assessment. It's going to be about me, myself, and I, and how we manage the change around us, how our attitude is, derived during that time, and how we can go about doing it in a great manner. So please, like I said, the chat box is there for you to ask all questions. So I'm going to be monitoring it as we go along. So feel free to chime in whenever. And then towards the end, we're going to ask questions again. So please feel free to engage in conversation. That'd be great. But go ahead and take notes, because there's going to be questions throughout. So let's go ahead and get started. But let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Thompson. I work for Workforce Solutions East Texas in the Longview office. I've been a facilitator for a couple of years now. My main objective is to be helping assist customers with reemployment activities. And a lot of that incorporates all of these types of things, employable skills, teaching resume, things like that. And so I'm very thankful to be able to bring this to you today. So let's discuss managing change in your attitude. First off, we always like our individuals to know what our mission is here at the workforce. It's our mission at the Workforce Solutions East Texas Board. It's our goal to improve the quality of life in this area through economic development by providing a first-class workforce for present and future businesses. It's not our intent to ever be second class or third class. We're always striving and trying to move forward. Even in a pandemic such as this, it was our goal to try to stay on top of things. We immediately went virtual, and we're still trying to engage with the job seeker and as well as our employers. That way we can still be trying to develop the workforce as best as possible. So our mission statement still remains the same. Okay, today's objective, our first objective is to recognize the power of a positive attitude and firm affirmations. That's very important. Secondly, our objective is to overcome limiting beliefs and negative thoughts. That can overcome us in an instance, and it's our goal to try to manage that and negate some of those negative thoughts. And then our third objective is to understand how commitment to change influences your future. It definitely is a commitment. It's long-term, and we have to take it up daily. So let's look at these objectives as we move forward. Harnessing your most valuable asset, your mind. That's where it starts. That's where change happens. That's where the attitude is. Your career identity is simply the mental and emotional picture you have of yourself. Us as human beings, we all self-regulate. We like our routines. We're definitely all out of our routines. We don't have a sense of normalcy now, and we're all out of our comfort zones. So if we're all used to a self-regulatory state, of course we're all out of balance during this time with the COVID-19 era. So. And we've had to kind of be in this upside down pattern for quite some time now. And so the idea is to kind of overcome that. And so by harnessing your mind, you kind of have to think of your mind as a giant supercomputer. The information that enters our mind is labeled and stored in files that are easily retrieved. And so what makes us all unique is where we file them, how we access, and when we access that stored information. So you make choices as to what your customized mental database looks like, what is retained, and then what the situation is that you need to access it with. So prompt yourself with these types of questions. When fear occurs, what file is accessed? When conflict arises, where do you go looking? Also, in regards to career or ambition, when ambition is needed, what file dictates your programmed response? Especially in this time, we need to be aware of what books, magazines, articles, television, and any other stimuli that we install into our supercomputer mind. Like in computer, the saying garbage in, garbage out definitely applies. And we don't want that to be our case. So today, as we discuss change in our attitude, I want us to kind of edit and install some new files that we can adjust for our supercomputer mind. And we can kind of think of it in that way. By adding these new files, we're creating new options for ourselves, ways to make new choices, and ways to accelerate our career. From this, we can develop new habits, beliefs, and an overall good attitude that will allow us to really pursue success in a manner that really is important. As I mentioned, how our with our career identity, it's just important that we look at our talents and assess where we're comfortable in moving forward with those talents. As we self-regulate, being in sync with our identity is one of the strongest desires human beings have. We will always act in accordance with our identity. The secret to progress is not to try and fool ourselves to being someone else. That's not the idea, but rather to take steps forward so we're not resistant to change and we're overcoming, negative attitude and things like that. So that's what we want to do. We want to overcome with our mindset. And then also we want to move forward out of our comfort zone so we can start meeting our goals. Okay, resistance to change. So we all can be resistant to change. It's a human response, but there's several reasons why we resist change. Resistance to change comes in all forms of habits, prior momentum and conditioning from our family, teachers, friends, and even media. This is why we're all so cognizant with our children, grandchildren, things like that. That way they're not exposed to too much television, violence, negative thinkers, cynics. All of that matters because the early exposure really shapes their identity and will create their foundation for life. And all those small things really build up. And so we have to really pay attention. And it really takes courage for us to make a change and explore why we are the way we are and why we do what we do. To really break that down takes a lot of thought and effort. And it's almost like career therapy, especially when it comes to moving forward with making decisions professionally and, kind of guiding our lives alongside that in a personal manner too, with our families and things like that. But making these changes will give you what you ultimately seek, greater happiness and peace of mind. We just always have to kind of take a self-evaluation, kind of take a personal inventory on what needs to be moving forward with ourselves. And despite resistance to change and some of these reasons can get in our way, we have to really try to carry them through and constantly take a self-evaluation. Okay, so here's a quick self-evaluation. Resistance to change, like we said. So this is kind of a quick quiz that tells how open you are to change. It is a perfectly normal and natural human response to resist change, like we mentioned. So just answer these truthfully. Like I said, go ahead and you have your a piece of paper where you can jot down some of these answers. They're just true and false, so feel free to look at that. So the first question asks, in these days of rapid progress all around us, I am quick to learn new ways of doing things. Would you say that's a true or false statement with yourself? Also, a person who says, I must be certain that doing something differently is worthwhile before I try it. Or thirdly, making changes creates too many problems and pressures for me that I can't handle. I would rather relax and enjoy what I have. What do these say about you? And like I said, you're just gonna answer these honestly and truthfully, because at the end of the day, what you don't want to lie to yourself about who you are. Okay, are y'all good with that? Okay, so here's another prompted. So what do you see when you read the words below or read the letters below? I'll give you a minute to read it. Okay. Some see the words opportunity nowhere. Others read the same letters, but instead they see opportunity now here. I think you will agree that there is a significant difference for sure. Whether you realize it or not, you have been conditioned to see the good or the bad, to focus on the positive or the negative. You can decide what type of outlook you want to have, how you earn a living, and how you choose to see the world. And especially now, whereas we're all kind of beat up a little bit, you know, with what's happening around us, you know, you might be an individual who, you know, lost your job. You might be an individual who had to really figure out some things for your children with being at home, or just things being flipped upside down. But kind of in the same sense as the individual who sees like the glass half full, the glass, all, you know, all the way full, that can, you know, that kind of, that can allow you to kind of see why you see, and you kind of have to understand why you believe what you see. And so with that being said, you know, there are opportunities all around us. I know regularly, you know, especially if you're looking for work, there still is job opportunities. There still is things moving forward despite when we think things have all halted. And so just keep that in mind, that we have to alter our mindset to still see opportunity everywhere, despite, you know, things coming to a halt. Okay. Ask yourself, what specific changes, both personally and professionally, do I need to make and why? Try to list one change for your personal life and one change for your personal life. You know, these could be small changes, it could be radical changes, it could be just a course of direction. And that's exactly what change really entails, you know, to make a different or some particular form. So that would be a definition of change in someone changing something small. You know, change also could be to make something radically different. Radical is a really big word, and I can't even handle dissecting how big of a word that could mean in my life, but that could be the case for us. Also, change could mean to give a different position, course, or direction. It could just be altering the way we do things, like right now with our lives today. You know, it could be small changes, big changes, and it all affects us personally and professionally. So just kind of ponder this question for yourself and answer it on, you know, it's going to be something we're thinking about later. because change is inevitable and it's constant, and you know, we're constantly moving forward whether we like it or not. And so we have to adjust ourselves with how you know, what things we might need to change to better ourselves. And so this is a good question to think about, and you might not be able to answer it now, but think about seeing about jotting this question down and thinking about it. Okay. So ponder these questions. What is your why behind your want? It all depends on what your why is. And where are you today? Where do you want to be? So this could be small goals. This could be our career. You know, it could be I want to pursue school. I want to live in this type of place, or I want to build a house, or I want to, you know, have certain goals for my family, things like that. So we have to all be putting the building blocks for ourselves for what our goals are. But we have to discover what is our why behind our want for those goals. And we kind of have to assess where we are today. You know, we might not be exactly where we want to be, but we just have to think about moving forward with that as best we can. You know, right where we are, you know, kind of thinking, we just have to, you know, be present, you know, be okay with where we are, but be okay with also figuring out how to put things into place to go forward. And then also, where do you want to be? So first you're setting the goal, you're figuring out the why, but also you're trying to assess and being okay with where you are now. And so putting all of those together is very important. Especially in building career, you know, I never want you to think like that you're ever in quite a denied place. You cannot be denied your quest to find a passion, purpose, power, profit, or even peace of mind. That is all personal and movement forward with yourself. Especially in the workforce today, it really requires constant change and adaptation. It becomes critical for all of us to invest our mental and emotional energy in pursuing what we would all call our calling. But simply making slight changes, you can still yield dramatic results. So in regards to what do we really want, we all need to understand that we all control our direction. Not the economy, not the president, not the political landscape, housing market, oil prices, COVID-19. We're all not a victim, but rather just the captain of our own ship, master and commander, where we will no longer focus on external forces because we have an internal plan that makes such considerations. And that is our whole intention, is to internally focus what our goals are, still keep those moving forward, and not allow those external forces to overcome us. So what is your why behind your want? Where are you today, and where would you like to be? Okay. So what is your career thermostat set for? Like the thermostat on our wall, you are currently set at a specific temperature. Unlike the thermostat on our wall, you are conditioned for a certain level of success. Your character and belief systems are for a certain level, and they are essential parts of your ultimate career success. You know, certainly having superior careering strategies is important, but without taking the time to learn how your own mind and emotions work, you, like millions of others, can get a job, but not really have your ideal career. And that really can put a damper on who we want to be. A great quote that I heard, it talks about Most people are wondering generalities versus meaningful specifics. I have found that most people spend more time analyzing what automobile to purchase, model, the make, the consumer reports, the gas mileage, safety tests, all of those things, than they do spend on improving themselves. As a result, us as people, we're just drifting through life without purpose or direction. And we don't want that to be the case for ourselves. We want to really figure out what our career thermostat is. We want to figure out what our personal thermostat is as well. Even though this is career forward, we have to assess those things. So who are you? What are your habits? What do you believe in? Do you manage your fears? Do you feel like you are deserving of a great career? Will you take risks? Are you programmed for career success? All of those are very important to ask yourself. You want to study yourself and observe your thoughts, fears, habits, and actions, and even our lack of action, and just keep those steps moving forward to changing our career identity. And so keep that in mind. Like it says, there is no technique or strategy you can learn that will make a difference unless you're really evaluating these things. And fear really gets in the way. All of these things get in the way. And we're going to discuss some of those things that get in our way. So as we're discussing change, there's different kinds of change, and we have to kind of evaluate how that looks in our life. Change, modifying specific tasks or behaviors to be able to take on a new or different responsibility. That's another definition of change. Like we said, change can be uncomfortable. It's not fun. We like our self-regulated space. But think of two types of change. Cyclical change refers to variable changes that are normal and natural. You know, examples like the weather, you know, seasons of stock markets, things like that, where we can anticipate that type of change. If you lived in like a 4-season climate, you would understand when to put your skis up and when to uncover the pool. You immediately understand what that looks like. However, structural change, those are changes that advance society and often makes the prior way of doing things obsolete. Like it says, smartphones, or just technology in general. Several individuals, as they've moved forward with their careers, they never jumped on the bandwagon of computers and technology. And that is a train that's been moving forward for quite some time, and it can leave some people behind. And so, you know, we have to embrace how that change has structured our lives. I mean, as we're all on the Zoom meeting together, you know, we're all in a virtual place. We're all in a internet space. So understanding how that change has really advanced our society, but then also understanding, you know, some of that comes with being uncomfortable. Some of these things are uncomfortable. And so we have to just recognize it and keep moving forward with it. I want you to try and experiment with me just really quick. So fold your arms across your chest normally, as you would when you're relaxed and you're just chilling for a second. You just folded your arms. Now try to fold the opposite way with the opposite arm in this top position. So like the opposite complete way. You can't relax easily that way, can you? It doesn't feel right. It's odd. You know, it's just not the way that we would want it to be. So even simple changes often feel uncomfortable. When it comes to careering, there are two types of change, you know, the cyclical and structural, that we have to pay attention to and we have to embrace it. Some of them we can see coming, like cyclical, but structural, we have to move forward and adjust with them. Okay. So these are those barriers to change that can get in our way. Laziness is a barrier, anxiety, ignorance, and confusion. Laziness could be the people that find the process of exploring inner passions or finding purpose, just making change and reinventing themselves to be too difficult. So why would you bother with that? Sometimes it just really is too much. They can't handle it. Also, anxiety gets in our way, especially now. We're all, especially if media gets a hold of us and we really aren't up in arms with some things, anxiousness and fear really can overcome us. Fear often prevents action, while a lack of direction encourages complacency. And so anxiety can really hold us back. Fear holds us back. And that could be an individual that's been in that state for many years. They never were able to take up hold of some things. Also, ignorance gets in our way. That could be an individual who says, I have a job for now, so, leave me alone. I'm good to go. Don't worry about a thing. I don't have to pursue any calling on my life. That's ridiculous, and I don't have to pay attention to that. Well, that would be wrong, because you might have a calling on your life that's really intentional. And then also confusion. Change is happening so fast. I'm overwhelmed. I'm confused, and I don't know where to start. And so they end up not doing anything. So, barriers really overcome us, and we have to negate these barriers as best we can. Barriers are not the enemy, despite them being so overwhelming. They provide a clear roadmap for change and help us to understand specifically what is holding us back. And some of these might be holding us back. So those could be part of our self-evaluation, really evaluating that, overcoming barriers and really pursuing healthy change. Alrighty. So with overcoming barriers and pursuing change, a lot of times it's going to bring up some issues that we have to resolve, do some problem solving. And this is kind of a helpful way to look at how to effectively problem solve. There are 7 steps that really are beneficial to kind of look at and break down. So if you would look at number 1, this is where we would look at the big picture. You want to get an overview of what is happening. You want to look at the situation objectively and gather relevant facts and kind of look at all angles. There's problems personally and professionally, and a lot of these steps would happen organically. And so if others are involved, we have to really look at the big picture and take it all in. Number 2 would be, we need to identify the real issue. Sometimes there's many factors that impact a problem and make it even worse. So the task is to determine the major problem that is the direct cause of other minor problems. So what is the real issue? Especially as we're self-evaluating, if there's some personal stuff, some things might be getting in the way that we've kind of, like they say, people medicate the problem, but they never actually get to the real issue. We have to really discover what that real issue is. And then brainstorm solutions. That's number 3. List all possible solutions. Don't pass any judgment on the solution. Just list them and be creative. This is your opportunity to just be truthful and be, just write it down, figure it out, brainstorm, see what really needs to happen. And then, that can, really present the best solution. And that's where we come to number 4. Consider all the possible solutions carefully and weigh all the advantages and disadvantages. Select the solution that has the most advantage, and that will overwhelmingly start to eliminate those issues. And then number 5, we have to make a plan. Develop a plan to resolve the problem by identifying the resources that can be utilized to assure that the plan will be successful. Be certain that you have a clear plan of action, otherwise the right solution will not work. And that is definitely the case. If we don't have a plan and we never plan to put a plan into action, we're going to stay stagnant and complacent, and we won't move forward and effectively create healthy change, and we won't be able to, you know, our attitudes definitely won't be healthy during that time because we never were pursuing those healthy goals and things like that. So 6, after we make the plan, we need to put that plan in action. You need to be committed to follow through with the plan and put your resources to work. And so put that plan into place and just be prepared. And like it says on number 7, this is where you're going to check on the progress and modify what is happening. The final step is to implement it. You know, you have to make the plan, you have to put the plan in action, and it has to be implemented. And don't be discouraged if it doesn't work out exactly as planned, because that's what life is. Life isn't perfect, for sure. You might need to just still make slight modifications. And, you know, if something doesn't work, just go back to the drawing board on some things. But these are all ideas for problem solving. These are just sorry, everybody. Are y'all here? I see everybody. I don't know what happened. Hey, Tony. It went off on me. Maybe my internet went crazy. Can somebody chat to me that you can hear me again? Hey, Paul, thank you. Sorry, everybody. That's technology for us. Let's continue, okay? Sorry, we're almost finished with this. All right. So these are the ideas of problems, like we said, life doesn't happen in a way to create a diagram and things like that. We all have to really assess these things, and some of these things, like I said, happen organically. So like it says at the bottom, everything by the inch is a cinch, but by the yard it's hard. And that is the case. You know, if you break things down in small bites, they can be digested a little bit easier, but bigger things can be really difficult. So we really have to look at those things and create the best solution to overcoming our issues. All right. So our power of positive thinking, this is what we're going to leave ourselves with. We definitely want to understand how to pursue that positive thinking, because to embrace change and to overcome attitude really has to have a lot of positive thinking. You've all probably heard this, how it says it takes as much energy to form a positive thought as it does a negative one. You know, beliefs really do shape our reality, and we all really do need to learn positive self-talk and understand the why behind our want. So, like, for instance, when we look at our role models, every role model we identify with as successful did not get there without adversity, obstacles, or challenges. They simply focused on their outcome and did not allow themselves to become sidetracked with guilt or excuses. So we need to ask ourselves, you know, where do we need to be with our belief system, and what does our attitude need to look like? Our successors and our role models, they focused on exactly what they wanted and formulated their internal beliefs and attitudes that it was going to be attainable. And the common denominator to success and life balance is our attitude. And we all have to really form that positive thinking system. Positive thinking is ultimately about structuring our belief system that is substituting positive images for negative ones, and it is the process of consciously filtering out unhealthy thought and cleansing the mind. We have to do this daily. Waking up in the morning, you know, we might not have woken up on the good side of the bed, and sometimes we really have to take a self-evaluation moment and start cleansing the mind, and we have to cleanse the mind regularly. I've always enjoyed seeing some of those positive videos of when, like, you know, a young father, you know, has their daughter in the mirror and she's doing positive affirmation and she's like, I'm beautiful, I'm awesome, I'm great, and all these things. All of that has a lot of power to it. And, you know, our belief system and really starting that out in a healthy way really can affect ourselves to start creating that positive mindset. And that's what we want. And then it'll allow us to be more confident in where it says, where we're understanding why we are the way we are and why we want what we want, and allows us to have a healthy want and a healthy why. And so the key is obtaining our calling. We have to create massive momentum with the power of positive thinking, especially, you know, with our purpose and desire. We all have to build a strong emotional tie between the outcome we seek and the effort required to achieve that objective. We all have to keep it moving forward. It says 80% of achievement in life is developing a strong enough why, the psychology behind your ambition. And then the other 20% is the mechanics part, the actual carrying out of the plan. If you have a momentum towards a prior behavior or bad habit, your mind will resist your initial efforts to change your conditioned response. And that really is the case. Our subconscious really can affect us. We have to all, those things are underliers that really get in our way. So that healthy mindset, those files really start coming into play. And we all have to put our mind to it. We've all heard the saying, we only use about 10% of our brain power. You no doubt have hidden potential that has never been identified or put into practice. It doesn't matter what age we are, we still are moving forward. You know, individuals all the time say, I just still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. That's fine. We're still evolving. We're still moving forward. And without realizing our potential and continually growing as a person, you know, we won't be happy. We won't have a healthy mindset, you know, and we'll feel undervalued in the things that we always wanted. So we all have unique gifts to contribute to make us all successful. So we all need to discover it and put it to good use and create that positive change, create the positive thinking processes with our mindset, and have a good attitude. And that is my goal for all of you. Sorry, the internet was crazy on me and I had to start this back up. But here's our conclusion. I truly hope that I provide you some insight on ways to manage change through the power of positive attitude, overcoming negative thoughts, and development of a commitment to firm affirmations. I wish you well in all your future endeavors to carry you through to meeting your personal and your professional goals. That is our intent. We want to invest in you as our customers, and we always want to continue to move forward. Thank you so much for participating today. Y'all are awesome. Does anyone have any questions? Thanks, Mr. Paul. Happy Friday. I'm so glad it's the weekend. Any questions on anything, everybody? I'm looking at my chat. Okay. Feel free to contact us. We have this information broadcasted on all of our websites, you know, all of our social media accounts, things like that. So always be able to access us, easttexasworkforce.org, and then also call us. We aren't open to the public in our offices. We're all working from home. So we can still be able to talk to you via phone and the email. And just feel free to contact us with anything you might need. Also, we do have additional resources. Please see to all the our East Texas Workforce, and then also careeredge.com. That's where a lot of these modules are. And then also follow along with Workforce Solutions East Texas on all of our social media pages. This will really be beneficial to you, especially in wanting to know the updates on like COVID-19, things like that, and where we are with open back up and things like that. That'll be important to pay attention to. And then as always, you know, we really do appreciate your opinion, especially on, you know, we all are trying to create content that really matters to our customers. So please take a moment to scan the barcode. And then also go to that website, surveymonkey.com. If you type in that RC89LY9, that'll bring you to being able to present, answer some quick questions and a survey on this content. That way we can better serve you. And it's just really beneficial to us. So please do that. So go ahead and jot that down. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you for being here today, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Y'all are the best, and I look forward to seeing y'all in another one. Y'all take care.